Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This video today is going to talk about queues. Our last video we talked about different data structures. We discussed stacks. Today we're going to talk about queues. So how will we create a queue? Well, it's simple. Let's create a new source. Well, we'll create a new package. We'll keep it going the same way. We'll call it data structure dot queues. Alright, we'll create a new class, and you can almost guess that I'm going to call it queues. And I'm going to choose public static and hit return. Awesome. Alrighty, so let's start off from the top. What do we want first? We want to set up our private information, private int, an array, call it items, equals new int. I'm going to give it 5. You can give it what you want. In this example, we'll do 5. You could do 6, you could do 10, whatever you want to do. Alright, so private, we need a head, which we talked about if you've seen my video on linked list. So we'll do private int head equals -1. And then we'll do a private tail, which in my video, you've seen how we had an int and we had a head and a tail. Call it tail equals -1. Then we'll do a private integer number of items equals 0. This basically this field makes the implementation easy, but we can't implement without it, but it makes it easier. Alright, so now we'll set up we have public queues. Well, we don't. We have public class. We need to have something called public queues that we'll use for now. We need to so that kind of declares this. Let me actually do this so that we have something. Alright, it's just a blank. It's like a placeholder for now. So let me move this guy around. Alright, so we have the public queues. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up let's do this. Let's do public queues, and we're going to do a parameter. We want to send size, and we want to say this dot. I'm going to show you a different way. Then we have this dot items equals new int size. We could do it like this right there, because we're saying these items right here currently. Alright, so next we're going to set up a couple different things. We're going to set up all our parameters first before we actually get started with this guy down here. So now we're going to set up a method, I say parameter, a method called enqueue. We talked about enqueue in class. We'll do enqueue int item. Within the int item, we're going to say, hey, if it is full, which don't worry, that doesn't exist yet because we haven't developed it yet. So we'll develop here in a second. Actually, let's do this real quick. Let's go down here and set up this method that we're missing. We'll say it's going to be a Boolean value. We'll say Boolean. We'll call it is full. And we'll do return number of items equals items.length. Perfect. Now we have this guy will go away here in a second. We'll say throw new run time exception like we did in a previous video. And we'll say the queue is fill. I have a PC keyboard hooked up to a Mac computer. I don't like it. Alright, if tail equals the items.length -1. Deal with this. You're dealing with the circular case in this case. We'll say the tail equals -1, and then we'll say that the items in brackets ++ adds on tail equals item. And then we'll put down here at the bottom, we'll put number of items ++ reiterate on. You could do number of items equals number of items plus 1, or you could do it plus plus, or you could even put the plus plus in front of number of items. So there's 3 different ways that you can accomplish that task. Alright, so we have a problem down here, so something's going on. So we have, what do we have? We have is full, and then we have return number of items. Do we have number of items spelled wrong? Let's see. My equals, oh, I have 1 equals versus 2 equals. That'll do it every time. Alright, so what is next? We need to do a DQ, kind of like the NQ. So, see if I can copy that. Yeah, I could kind of copy this and change it around. So we're going to make life easy. I'm going to copy this snippet of code here. I'm going to throw it down here, but I'm going to call it something different. So we have NQ. We're going to call this DQ. It's not going to pass in a value in this case. So it's going to be no return. We're going to say, instead of if is full, we're going to say if is empty. We're going to say, hey, if it's empty, Q is empty. And then we're going to say, instead of head, we're going to say, hey, if the head tell, we're going to say head equals items.length -1, head equals 1. And then we're going to say number of items. Well, this is where it gets a little different here. We're going to come down here and change this and say num of items minus minus. Then we are going to return something here, something different. So we're going to say return items. Now, when I said we weren't going to return anything, I meant from nothing's going to be passed in to return. We're just going to return ahead here. Alright, so we got lots of problems. Why is there lots of problems? Well, I was trying to call a method that doesn't exist. So we'll come down here under full again. And we'll create this empty. We'll call it public boolean, and we call it is empty. And we will do on the empty, we'll have to return number of items, and we'll equal 0. That should take that away, which it did. We have return items plus head. Why did it not like that? Alright, so void methods cannot return a value. Change the method return type to int, because I didn't make it an int. Let's see what's going on here. So it looks like I had something spelled wrong. So as usual, spelling can be a problem. So alright, so we have the DQ, we have the is full. These are methods for these guys right here. I have the NQ, DQ, we have the Q int size. We need a peak method. So I'll come down below this guy and I'll say public int peak. And then I'll say return, if I spell it right, items head plus 1, and then end it. Perfect. Alright, so last but not least is the fun part. It's displaying this information on the screen. So I'll come down here. I know you guys can see my screen. I'll do Q's. Q equals new Q's. And then we'll do system.out.println. Q is empty. And then we will do Q.enqueue. And we'll pass in a value. So we said our thing was 5, so we'll do 5 of these guys. Let's see here. Let me copy and paste this several times. Alright. And we'll just change the values. You can change them whatever you want to change them to. So I'll do 4, 6, I don't know, 10, 46, I'll do 45. Alright. So now we do that. Now we have to do the DQ several times. So we'll type in system.out.println, Q for our Q, DQ, we call that method, and we'll have to DQ it 5 times. So let me, no reason you typing this 5 times. Let's make it easy. paste, paste, paste. Copy and paste is your friend. Alright, so now what we have to do is we enqueued it. Now we have to enqueue it again with different values. So, once again, copy and paste is your friend. Copy these guys. Paste these guys in here. Let's change the values around. I'll do 2, I don't know, 5, 6, 8, and I don't know, keep it 10. Alright, so now we need to dequeue again. How many times? Yeah, we could do 4, we could do 5. We'll just do 4 of them this time. So I'll copy these guys below here. Now we need to enqueue again, and you could kind of keep doing this over and over if you want. I'll do 11. I'll do 12. Let's see, 13. Then we need to dequeue again. So you could keep repeating this pattern on and on and on. Alright, I'm not doing that, so I'm going to run this bad boy, see if it works. Alright, so it does give us a true value. It provides the output of what we're looking for. As you see, the values are staying the same because that's what we hard coded in there. Now you could take these values right here, and you could pass in values from a database, a web service, Amazon Web Services, etc. So these values right now are hard coded because we type them in manually. Whereas if they're coming from some other party, external device, then they would be considered dynamic. But in this class, you're going to learn a lot of hard code stuff. But it gives you thought process of what you could put there. Okay, so let's say hypothetically we had something declared somewhere. Like for example, say we had up here, above here we had, we'll just do it locally right here. Say we had an integer and call it my external values. And I'll start off at 0. Okay, and you might copy this guy right here, and you could paste that value right in here, because even though it's a value, but it's pointing to something. So that might be pointing to a web service that changes. You might have a loop that goes through it every time and just goes through this. So just think about that. You can also have something called a cursor. So if you have any questions, just shoot me a message. Have a good day. Thanks for listening.